friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the weekly playlist. It's Friday again, and so you guys know what that means. Time for me to share with you guys the games I have been playing during the week. I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions on these titles. I'd also like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on them, whether you liked them, whether you played them, maybe there's something you didn't like about them. I'd love to hear from you guys. I also want to hear what games you guys have been playing because I get great ideas for games to check out. And if you have any recommendations on a game you think I should check out, let me know because you guys do recommend some really cool titles. And recently, um, my buddy Dean has been talking about this game, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, that came out a few years ago. There's also a sequel to it, and it's a pretty cool little side-scrolling zombie game that I'm really looking into picking up. And I'll be probably finding it here on the Xbox One, as he recommended the console version over like the Switch version, and just playing on the big screen. I mean, of course, if I get the Switch, I get both best of both worlds. You can play it on the big screen and portable, but who knows? I might just buy it on both consoles because they are fairly cheap. I'm thinking like $10 or something. So, if you guys have any recommendations on a game you think I should pick up and check out, let me know because I'm always looking for great recommendations. I play a huge variety of genres, and I play all kinds of old retro stuff to the modern stuff because I have up to Xbox One X, and I have all the way back as far as like Atari 2600. So I do have a variety of consoles to choose from. So let me know if you guys have any recommendations. And I've got 3 games to share with you guys this week. And I didn't get the game as much as I wanted to this week, only because I had some obligations. I was busy with work, but I also was helping a buddy from work modding his Nintendo Wii that he just bought, getting him all like the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, GameCube games, all that kind of stuff on his Wii. And I've modded tons of Wiis for people over the years, and so I was doing that for him this week. And it just kind of a little time consuming and, testing to make sure everything works out. And then I kind of got into playing a bunch of the GameCube games that were on there testing for him. But we'll go over here these 3 titles that I did play. And this first one here I've been working on is an Xbox One title. And I actually beat it this week, and I had a lot of fun with it. And that is Homefront: The Revolution. This is an amazing first-person shooter game. I absolutely love it. Definitely think you guys should give it a chance and check it out. Now, this is the second game in the series. The original Homefront was on, like the Xbox 360. I think it was also on the PS3. But other than the name, the games aren't related at all. This is like a reimagining of the Homefront story. It's not really a sequel. That's kind of just a reimagining of it. Where in the original Homefront, North Korea and South Korea combine, become a unified Korea, and then they end up taking over the U.S. and the story goes from there. Well, this one is different. There's an alternate history to the world where North Korea eventually becomes a democratic country and become a superpower and get real big into technology and stuff. And it was really cool because I actually was reading online all this backstory to the game that actually the game doesn't even tell you about, but you can find it on Wikipedia and also the developer's website about the story. So I thought it was kind of cool to get a little background into everything. But basically, so the U.S. Just keeps fighting all kinds of wars in the Middle East, and they just keep getting into debt to North Korea, and they just keep buying more and more of their technology. And one of their big companies they have there is called Apex, and so everybody's got their cell phones, but then they're also making military weapons, tanks and guidance missile systems and aircraft carrier, all kinds of stuff. And so we keep buying and buying and buying their weapons so that we can keep fighting our wars in the Middle East and everything. And we just keep getting to bigger debt and bigger debt. And eventually we default on our debt to North Korea. And then they had secretly had built in a backdoor into all of their technology that they could use against the U.S. And that's what they do. They hit the switch on it. It's the year 2025. So all the planes and helicopters fall to the sky. The aircraft carriers stop working. The tanks stop working. The weapons and everything are all futuristic. They stop working. And then North Korea sends some ships over with some troops and everything over here to aid you. And then they end up taking over the U.S. And then this game starts off in the year 2029, where most of the U.S. has been destroyed, and it's like a third world country, and North Korea has complete control of the U.S. and its citizens, and they've murdered people and everything with gas and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then you take up the role as Ethan Brady, and you join the resistance, and you know, start a revolution to take America back from the North Koreans, and that's where the game picks up and takes place. And it's a really good game that I really enjoyed. Now I've been playing this, of course, post patch, because when this game really launched, which I think it was, yeah, 2016. I heard a lot of things. You know, it was kind of bugged, and there was graphical glitch and audio stuff and stuttering and stuff. But since then, they have patched it, and it's really made the game play a lot much better. Of course, like I said, I've been playing it post patch, so I haven't experienced any issues at all. But I really like the game. I really like the combat. The music is phenomenal in this game too. The atmospheric music they have, and the tense music here in firefights and stuff, you know, really gets you like pumped. So that's another thing I really like. The voice actors are cool. There's two voice actors that appear in the Terminator Resistance game. They're actually in this game. The main character in that game actually plays several of the NPCs in this character. So I didn't notice, you know, they kind of did the cheap thing out where some games do that, where you'll run into like 20 or 30 different NPCs and they all have the same voice. And that kind of run into that too. The other one, I don't want to ruin who the character in the Terminator game is. You run into a big character, but that's a really cool thing. So you guys know I don't like ruined story, but it was just cool seeing their voices in this. And others had mentioned it, and I had to agree with them that this really feels like a Terminator game, just without the Terminators, with way some of the music and the weapons and everything. It just kind of feels like a Terminator game, but without Terminators, and it's just great. I love that there's a variety of weapons for you to choose from. So you got your pistol, you got shotguns, you got a sniper rifle, and then you also have a rocket launcher. But the thing I really like about the weapons, however, though, is you can actually change them on the fly, and each weapon has three different versions of it. So you start with just a regular pistol, but you can upgrade the pistol and turn it into a little submachine gun, or then you can turn to a pneumatic pistol, and then you have an assault rifle, but then you can turn it into a like grenade launcher, but then you can also turn it into a submachine gun and make it, you know, like a big machine gun that makes it even bigger with more ammo and stuff. And then you got your shotgun, but then you can have it a better shotgun with more ammo and stuff. And then I think there's one other one that shoots out like little rocket things. Then you have the battle rifle that can turn into a sniper rifle, but that can also can't remember what else. It's another little like rocket type weapon. They also almost forgot there's also a crossbow in the game, and you can turn that into a flamethrower. And there's one other variation, like a bolt type weapon you can turn into, which is really cool. They also have craftable stuff, like you can craft Molotov cocktails to throw at enemies. You can throw bombs. You also have little distraction things you can throw to distract guards when you're out in the world. And they also have little hacking devices, so you can hack into vehicles, take them over, and so they'll actually be on your side for a little while. You could use it to hack into a computer or hack into a door or something and open it up, which is really cool. So there's different aspects to that I really, really enjoyed. There's also, you know, you can upgrade stuff because you do earn money as you do missions, but they also have these Korean tech points that you get for doing certain things, like taking over stuff in the map. Because so the game starts out, the very beginning, you're just in this little neutral like green zone area, but after that you open up until you get to like red zones, is where it's a big map, and you can go around and take over different checkpoint areas in there that are called strike points or strongholds. And by taking those over, you change the map from red, because it all starts out at red. You know, the Koreans have complete control of it, but as you start taking over the map, it turns blue, and so there's a less Korean presence until you pretty much neutralize most of the threat. There's almost like very little bit of them in there. And I really like that. And by taking over that stuff, you start earning those points, and then you can use that to upgrade your weapons, upgrade your own self. You know, Ethan Brady, you can upgrade his armor and his health and how many packs and stuff he can hold. And, you know, just by playing through the game, you can easily, before the end of the game, max out all your stuff. I also like that you can upgrade the weapons too, but you can also change weapons stuff. Like you can add different kind of scopes to it, iron sight. You can add silencer. You can add little laser guides for to see where your bullets are going. You know, just all kinds of cool customizable stuff I like in the game. They also have these little explosives on little teddy bears that you can leave on the ground for troops and have a convoy go by and they get blown up. You also have little RC cars that you can attach different things to and use those to get into places you might miss. Like there might be a little opening on the bottom of the door, and you have to use a little RC card to go there with a hack device and be able to hack the door from behind. So, there's some little creative ideas to it. And then, of course, you have the main story to go through, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was really cool. Of course, it's just a linear story. There wasn't more than one ending. Did beat it and saw the ending, and I enjoyed it. But the game does continue because there are 3 DLC packs to go through, which I had bought this physically for $8 at my local game store, and I got the little pre-order pack here of the Revolutionary Spirit pack, which gave me gold handguns and then like a skull icon for motorcycles. There's one vehicle you can drive around the game, and that are little motorcycles, which are pretty cool. So just cosmetic stuff, nothing big. But it also gave me some stuff for a resistance mode, with is a co-op player versus enemy type thing, but I haven't checked that out. But when I was installing this game, I always check out stuff in the Microsoft Store, because you just never know when you're gonna, when they're gonna have DLC for a game or sales. And I went in there and I was gonna buy the season pass for $15, but I saw that they had the digital deluxe edition for only $6. It was 85% off, and so that came with all the DLC plus the full game. So I was like, hell, I'm not gonna spend $15. I'll spend that $6 and get everything. And so I got that, and so I've got 3 DLCs to play through, because they continue the story of the main game, because the main game just kind of leaves it as a cliffhanger for like more to happen, which is something I really like. I didn't like, I don't like games that are just like one game and then it just concludes everything, because it's definitely something with this, with you're fighting like Korea. There's no way you would in one game be able to just completely oust them out of the entire United States. So I like that they left that opening, and I really do like that they made 3 DLCs for it now, because it got a lot of hate and stuff. And like my buddy Dean was saying, that the developers love the game, and for the fans that were still around, they did release the DLC for the game to keep it going. So I would love to see a third Homefront game in the series. I would love to see it as a sequel continuation from this one, instead of just like a new reboot like this one was over the 360 one. So that would be something I would hope they would do, but who knows if we'll ever get it. But I know a lot of people, hear the hate of it. I've heard some people talk, like my comments about like they didn't know if they would check it out, but after hearing me talk about it, they were thinking of looking into it. And I definitely would say give the Homefront Revolution and Homefront on 360 a chance and play, especially if you're a fan of first-person shooters. Now, I mean, you're not going to get the best absolute first-person shooter in the world or anything, but it's still an enjoyable game, especially now with its post-patch. It plays wonderfully. Great story. There's side stuff to do besides the main mission, and just an overall fun story that I really enjoyed. And I had mentioned the last couple times about that having North Korea as the antagonist is kind of ludicrous with the current thing. But then after reading about how it's an alternate reality, like an alternate way of history or something, and how they came into power, then I can understand more of that. It's not like the North Korea we have today, where it's a different North Korea that was changed and everything. That I could see that, and where in realistically, it could be China as someone that could actually pull something like this off, but still enjoyed the story. Definitely think you guys should check out Homefront: The Revolution. Such a wonderful game. Got one game here from Switch. This actually just came out recently. I've only played a little bit of it. I originally played this on the Wii U, and that was Super Mario 3D World plus the Bowser's Fury, which I have not even touched the Bowser's Fury. Just played a couple levels of this game, but this has become one of my favorite Mario games when it came out, just because I'm a big fan of cats. I've always liked cats, and you have a cat Mario that you can play as. But I also like the aspect of this is that you can play as Luigi, the Toad, or Peach, and you can switch your character anytime in any of the levels, and they all play a little bit differently than each other. Or like Mario's like your standard, he's good at everywhere, where like the princess can kind of float and stuff. Toad's kind of like the weakest of all of them, but he still has some benefits. And then you have like Luigi, who's kind of floaty, and I'm a big Luigi fan, and so I've been playing as Luigi. And I do know, I believe you have to actually go through and beat all the levels with all 4 characters. So that's just something that keep you going. There's also the 3 green stars to collect in this game, and then there's all kinds of new power-ups and new enemies and stuff. And of course, you gotta fight Bowser and rescue these little fairies. But it's a really cool game. that if you never got a chance to play it on Wii, you definitely should pick it up on the Switch. And I know a lot of people got are hating on like, oh, they're just porting old games and stuff, but realistically, the Wii U did not sell very well, and so not that many people got to actually play this game when it was on the Wii U because people didn't own a Wii U. So I think it's great that they're porting the Wii U games over to the Switch because it brings new life to the game and new stuff to people. Of course, I would have preferred this to be like a $40 game, but it's Nintendo and it's Mario. They know it sells. There's no way they're gonna make this a $40 game, so that's why it's $60. But I pre-ordered it, and I actually got. You guys will see in my next pickup video. But I did get some cool little posters that came with it for pre-ordering it and picking up at a GameStop. But it's just overall a really fun game. You also can play this 4-player, so it can get kind of crazy and zany. And so this is where like a hybrid 2D, like 3D adventure type of world, which is really cool. And definitely one that I'm going to be putting some more time here on the Switch. Definitely worth picking up. I think you guys should check it out, especially if you're a fan of Mario games and you have not played this one yet. Definitely check it out. And then the final one we're going to talk about is one that I have actually not played this. It's for the Xbox One since May of 2018. After being Homefront: The Revolution, I've been playing a lot of Bioshocks and stuff, a lot of first-person shooters. I decided I needed kind of a change of genres, and so I decided to go with hack and slash isometric top-down action RPG, and I decided to go back to Vikings: Wolves of Midgard, and it says on here a true competitor to the Diablo series, and this came with a digital soundtrack and digital art book. Let me just tell you guys off right off the bat, I like Vikings and stuff. I'm a big fan of the Vikings TV show from the History Channel. I actually bought the first 3 seasons on Blu-ray, and I'm looking to get the last 3 seasons, which I actually have the final season 6. I have part of it, and I'm going to try to get 4 or 5 in the last 6 one because I've been watching that series, and I've always liked it. And it's really cool. And then I also was playing, Vikings, the Assassin's Creed Vikings game, and so Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that one's really cool. And I just been kind of in a Viking mood lately, so I felt like, oh yeah, I've got that other Viking game on the Xbox One that's plays like the Diablo and your Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games, and so I decided I want to play it again. And I forgot how phenomenal the music is in this. It's just epic Viking music. I just love it. I mean, it's awesome enough that that digital soundtrack I have on my computer, I could just listen to it, and that's what I did this week, was listening to it when I was doing other stuff just because I like it that much. And like, they just did a phenomenal job with the music. You can play as different kinds of characters. They have different weapons, there's magic abilities and stuff. I currently am fighting with a staff because I like mage type characters, and that's the kind of Viking warrior that I'm playing as. But you can also have your axes, you got maces, you got bows if you want to do ranged. I mean, you can have a sword and shield and stuff, an axe and shield, dual wield weapons and stuff. Like, it's just really cool. There's a variety of ways to play, huge variety of enemies in the game. I haven't even counted them all because I'm still in the early game. I'm only on chapter 3, and I read online that this has about a 25-hour story, and there's also some side things you can do as well to level up your character, because this game is not easy at all. Let me tell you that it is definitely can be difficult. And I don't remember now because I started this game a couple years ago if there's actually a difficulty setting or not. But either way, whatever I'm on, like, it's still decently challenging. And you have to keep leveling. You start at level 1. I'm currently at level 5. And then of course you have in all these games, these hack and slash, enemies drop loot and stuff, and you can find better helmets and better armor and rings you can wear that can enhance your character, and you can upgrade stats and stuff. And one thing I really like about this is you actually collect your experience is actually blood that you collect from your enemies, and then they have these sacrificial altars and stuff. You go there and you can sacrifice that blood that you've collected, and you can make yourself stronger, and you can adjust, every time you do, you can adjust an attribute, like you want to make you have more health, or you want to make how you have better defense or better armor, or where your like spells cool down faster. So you have different things you can play and upgrade your character's attributes to the way you want to play, and it's something I really like. This does have a 2-player co-op mode online, so a 2-player one. That's cool. I haven't checked it out yet with anybody, but if anybody has this game and they'd like to play sometime, let me know, because it'd be kind of cool to play this multiplayer. Great game. I love too, that this thing is like violent too in the combat and stuff. Like you can whack dudes and like their heads will fall off, or arms and legs. And I remember this one, I was on a bridge just playing this like an hour ago, and this shield maiden, because there's shield maiden, so she's like running and screaming ah, and I just freaking like bitch slapped her with my staff, and her head flew off, and her body like split, and the whole like just flew off the bridge and stuff. So just a lot of stuff like that. And then sometimes when you in a combat area and like towards the end of it, sometimes the camera will zoom in on your attack, and you'll see like slow motion, and like the head will fly and the arm will come off and blood will be spraying, and it's just awesome. I like that it's really brutal and violent. Again, I was talking about there's a variety of enemies and stuff, so I've run into like little goblin dudes, I've run into boars, I've run into wolves, I run into goblins riding boars and stuff. And my wife was actually watching me play, and she's like, "Why the hell are you fighting boars for?" And I'm like, "Babe, because I said it's one of these action RPG games." I said that's just one of the enemy types. And then there was also frogs in the game, and there was other Vikings to fight, and Jotun and stuff. And so of course this deals with Nordic gods and stuff. So you have Thor and Odin and all them, and there's different abilities and ones you can align to upgrade your character. So that's really cool. And so you have that whole mythology and everything that's also in this game, and I'm really liking the story. The voice acting is done really well. The people they chose fit like they would be Vikings, and they just fit really well. And of course, I've mentioned how the music is just phenomenal. It just draws you in the game. And if you guys don't have a headset, I highly recommend getting one for your console. Whether you got the Xbox, PS4, or Switch, get a nice one. I got a nice Turtle Beach one from my Xbox One that I got brand new at a Goodwill years ago now for really cheap, and it really enhances your game because of they have that stereo surround sound on there, and it just you hear things you don't normally hear in the game unless you have your TV turned up really loud. And I like having that, and it just it's just a drastic difference playing games with a headset on, because you really hear stuff that you don't hear, and it really draws you into the world, especially with that amazing Viking music that they have going on. Like it just really gets you pumped up to be a Viking warrior and kick ass. So I'm loving this game. I'm definitely looking forward to beating this one. Wonderful game. Highly recommend you guys get Vikings, Wolves of Midgard. Wonderful game. Now, as always, we'll do our short little recap like I always do. I talked about how I got Homefront the Revolution. I finally beat this here after I was like 3 weeks of playing through this. A wonderful first-person shooter. Got a lot of hate. If you guys are kind of on the fence, let me tell you, just pick it up. It is cheap. If you get I think locally, you should be able to pick them like $5. I think online I've seen them go for like $5 to $8 range. You can buy the digital DLC with the DLC pack and everything's like $15, and they have that complete edition, which, like I said, I got it for $6 because it was 85% off. So I have no idea how much it is normally, but you also can go that route, and definitely give it a try, especially if you're a fan of first-person shooters. And it does have a kind of like a Terminator vibe to it. And there's actually 2 voice actors from that Terminator Resistance game in this that I thought was really cool. And it's just overall a really fun first-person shooter with some interesting mechanics. I like being able to change weapons on the fly and adjust, like adding scopes and laser sights to it, and just things like that I thought was really cool, and it was a unique aspect to the game. Great music and stuff. Definitely think you guys should check it out. We also talked about Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So this is they ported the Wii U version over to the Nintendo Switch, but they added this cool new Bowser's Fury mode that's just really neat and different. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Big fan of this game because it has Cat Mario and Cat Luigi in them, because I love cats. So it's really cool having that cat power up in here. And if you never got a chance to check it on the Wii U and you're a fan of Mario games, you definitely owe yourself to check this out. Overall, it's not a sorry guys, a little heartburn here again. Not overall a very difficult game. Still some challenging, but of course it's one of those. If you get really far into the game, towards the end is when the game can get really difficult. But overall, it's a much easier Mario experience, and you can play it up to 4 players. So definitely give it a chance if you got a Nintendo Switch. Wonderful game. And the last one we talked about was Vikings, Wolves of Midgard. This is an amazing top-down isometric action RPG. It plays like your Diablos and your Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and your Champions of Norath. I mean, I love those games. I've got a bunch of them in my collection, and my goal is to actually beat all of them, because I've beat several of them. I beat Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1, 2. I beat Dungeons and Dragons Heroes. I beat Champions in Norath 1. I'm right at the end of Champions in Norath 2. I'm real far in Titan Quest and stuff. So I love these kind of games. And this has a Viking setting. And the music is just phenomenal. The voice acting is great. The variety of weapons and enemies. The story is great. The narrative, everything just fits so well. And I think you guys should check it out. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Whether you played these 3 games, any of them, what you liked about them, maybe what you didn't like about them. I want to hear what games you guys have been playing because it gives me ideas on games to check out. And if you guys have any recommendations on a title you think I should check out, let me know because you guys have recommended some great games. And I have a nice little list going on my website of games to keep an eye out for. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have a great day and sleepy. We'll see you next time.